Hello everyone, welcome to Transfer Tuesday. It's the day of the week where I share what we're doing in our financial lives to get closer to our goals. I'm so excited that it's another Tuesday, and today we are going to make some very big moves. So I hope you stay tuned and see what we've done and if we hit our next goal marker. Transfer Tuesday is just the day that I've chosen to do a weekly payment toward whatever goal that we're working on. It is something that I started doing when we were paying off debt, and it's been very helpful to finish paying off all of our debt and also to move on to bigger goals where we're doing investing and saving up for some big purchases. I find some sort of weekly progress is a lot more motivating to me, and it also stops me from just not sticking to the plan and maybe spending a little too much in other areas like going to Starbucks every day. So instead I do weekly progress, and I put either money that we've saved in our budget or extra money that I've made on the side toward our goal. Right now, the goals we're working on are saving up for a down payment for another home. I also use Transfer Tuesday to work on my Roth IRA, so that is something that we're going to do as well. So today we're going to work on two different things. We're going to put money in my Roth IRA for 2021, and I am trying to fund my Roth IRA fully. That is $6,000 for the year. I'm working off of a chart, so I'm going a little bit every single week. That's something that is going to extend throughout the year. And then I'm also working on piling up money in my M1 Finance account. That is going to be our house fund, which is toward a down payment. It's going to be something that we save up for a down payment for our next home, but because that timeline and our exact plans are so up in the air, and I really don't know what we're gonna do with that, and my brain changes every day, and the housing market's crazy, so we're just gonna put $10,000 aside that's kind of earmarked for that in the future. So those are the goals that we're working on currently, and let's get started and check those out. First, the Roth IRA. Last week, I was at $2,160 into my Roth IRA for 2021. That is 36% funded for the year, so we're 36% of the way toward our goal. And then today I'm adding $120. So basically every single week I'm trying to pick a number that kind of works with our budget based on what else we have going on. So today I'm adding $120 toward this goal just from our budget. We are not really having any extra money go toward this goal right now. It is just money that I'm budgeting in for every single week. So each week I'm picking one of these numbers and making it work with the rest of our budget. And that brings us up to a total of $2,280. So $2,280, and that is 38% funded. So we've moved up another 2% toward our goal, which is pretty exciting. Like I said, this is something that I'm going to do throughout the year, so it's not really something that I'm trying to rush or throw all the money toward. But my other goals are where I'm trying to stack cash and pile up money so that I have the options available to me when we want to make the next big moves, because buying a home obviously is a very big move and we'll need money for that. And then we'll be moving on to another goal, but more on that later. First, let's look at the M1 Finance account and see what's happened this week. So this week I did have one referral, which means I got $30 for referring someone to M1 Finance. When you sign up with an M1 Finance referral link that I will have in the description box below if you want to use it, I get $30 and the new person gets $30. I think right now if they put $100 in. That changes, so if you're watching this video later, it may not still be an option because they have previously only done $10, but right now it's $30, so that's pretty exciting. And I did get $30, which went straight toward VTI. I'm trying to build up my position in VTI, which is a ETF. Basically, it's the entire market, so I'm not really picking stocks right now. I'm just piling money into VTI. And I'm doing the same thing with all of my contributions today. So I'm putting $177 into this account. $150 of that is from side hustle income. So basically my Etsy shop and a couple other things. It was pretty evenly split this week. $150 from this online business income. And then $25 is my weekly contribution. So that as well. And then $2 from the bank account challenge, where I just take the final digit in our checking account and move that money over as well every single week. So $2 from that. So all of that together is $177, and that money went into the account, and specifically I earmarked it to buy just VTI. But that's not all. I also finally got around to rolling over my Robinhood account to M1 Finance. So my Robinhood account, I stopped using it forever ago, but I was pretty lazy and didn't actually initiate the transfer. It is finally moving over today. The account rollover, the account transfer is finally in progress. So my M1 Finance account is kind of like on pause right now, but I did make the portfolio in my account so that could roll over. So I have the same stocks that I had in Robinhood, and that amount is now showing up in my total in my M1 Finance account. So that means we hit our goal. We were already over $9,000, rolling over that $2,000 roughly in Robinhood to this account. Since that wasn't earmarked for anything else, I rolled it over to this account, which means that we are just now at a nice number that's over $10,000. We are over $11,000 actually. So the actual investment side of this account is at $6,211. And because we do have some in the cash spend account that's at 1% APR, our total amount here is $11,216. Yay, I'm done. I'm gonna call the house fund done because that's obviously not happening anytime soon. Because I had a baby in March, I told myself that I wouldn't make any actual big decisions for the first 6 months because you are kind of hormonal and still adjusting. So I'm not making any big decisions. I'm not buying a house, quitting a job, buying a car, or anything like that. I changed my hair and I bought some new glasses. So I'm making some physical changes and kind of like getting used to being a mom of two and figuring that out, and maybe doing some other stuff in my life behind the scenes. But I'm not going to make any big life changes or financial changes because having a new baby is a big enough change for life. Like it's just a huge change. So we are getting kind of into a better rhythm now that we're getting to 3 months, but I'm not going to make any big choices or changes for 6 months. So with all that said, I am going to quit working on this goal and consider it checked off for the year. Done. We have $10,000 that is kind of earmarked for that eventual purchase. However, that means we need to move on to our next goal and figure out how we're doing that. The next goal is saving up for my husband's car. We are going to try to get a nicer, more expensive, newer car. So we have a little bit of time before this needs to happen. So I am playing around with 2 options, and I would love to hear your feedback or comments. Number 1, save up the entire amount and pay cash for a car. This is my least favorite option. I don't necessarily want to do this. I don't think we need to pay for the car in full this time because we are going to get a much more expensive car. And with inflation how it is right now, everything is going up price-wise in like insane amounts. So I don't necessarily think I want to pay all cash. Option 2 is saving up like 10 grand and then financing through either a bank or the actual car dealership or something like that. Option 3, which is probably my personal favorite right now, is continuing to build up this M1 Finance account and then using the borrow feature, which is where you can borrow against your portfolio. So with that, you can borrow, I think, 30% of your total portfolio. So we could just pile up money into this investment account and pile it up and pile it up and pile it up, and then borrow maybe 20 grand and go get a really nice to us new car. So we could just pile up money in this account, like just pile up, and then go borrow some of this money at a really low rate. The max rate that I've seen is 2%. And they actually had a 0% loan recently, but I have not been eligible for it because I didn't have the $10,000 in my investment account to qualify for that. So I'm thinking about maybe doing that one, but that means we'd have to pile up a lot of money to get enough to borrow to pay for a relatively good car. That is what we want. I know, like, if you follow me, I'm obviously not super pro debt, but in this market with inflation being high and needing to invest and having a low interest rate option, 2% is literally under what even my mortgage is. So that's such cheap debt that's a consideration. So I don't know. I keep going back and forth between all of those. Also, this is probably not something we're going to do immediately because it's not a necessity this month or anything, but it is probably going to have to happen soonish. Basically, we are going to save up 10 grand no matter what because we're going to buy a more expensive car. I do want a decent down payment, and that way the whatever debt that we do take on won't be overwhelming, adding to our monthly budget, because I don't really want a $700 car payment if we get another SUV. So I don't necessarily think that I want to add that much to our monthly budget because that does limit my choices as far as other things in life. So yeah, I keep going back and forth on that, but we are now at the stage where we're going to move on to this next goal. So while I have these chunks of $10,000 basically earmarked for certain goals, the overall goal right now is just to pile up money and invest that money and just try to pile it up and let it grow. And then I can make some choices down the road, at least 3 months down the road. I still have 3 months to get to that 6-month mark after the baby. So I am kind of trying just to not do anything drastic for the first 6 months. So I think for the next 3 months, we're just going to pile money into this account and see where we end up. And then at the 6-month mark, kind of reevaluate how we're doing, how I'm feeling, how things are going, how our life looks, and then start to make some of these choices. So for the next 3 months, I'm kind of going into a stash cash season. So I'm just gonna like stash all my money as much as I can into these accounts, try to grow that, and then give myself options once I'm at a point where I feel comfortable enough to make some bigger moves and not second guess myself so much. Now that I think about it, it's kind of funny that we're going into summer and my plan for summer, which originally I thought my plan for summer was going to be like travel and have fun and like spend it doing family stuff. But because of all of these things that are happening, both that I'm sharing with you and behind the scenes that I can't really talk about, my goal now is to literally just make money and stash cash, because I think that will benefit us all as a family the most. And that's sometimes what you need to do. You just need to reevaluate as you go and change your goals. It's okay. I'm changing my goals so much this year. It just keeps going back and forth on what we're doing. But we're now entering stash cash season or stash cash summer. I don't know. Maybe we could come up with a cool name for it in the comments. Let me know if you have a cool name. But if you've watched this far and you're part of the comment club, because I love you guys, write stash cash below, because that's what I'm about to start doing. And if any of you want to join me, let's start like next week and see how much we can all just put away for the next 3 months. I think that would be cool. We can like I can keep track and have a total. Like, let's do this. Okay guys, that's it for me. I will see you here next week for the start of our stashing season. We are going to just stash away all of the cash that we can, put it in investments, and then see where we end up. So I'm excited to start that with you, and I will see you next Tuesday.